What is up, guys? It is your boy Maldi. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video than you're used to, probably. We're going to go ahead and rank every mainline Pokemon game. As of this recording, it is like a day before the Indigo Disc DLC comes out, so this might be some different content than that, which you will see for a while, at least on this channel. So, guys, why don't we go ahead and just jump right into it? So, go ahead and grab a drink, grab a snack, get cozy, text your loved ones you love them, and let's get right into it. So, as a lifelong fan of Pokemon, I've virtually played every single game on this list. I guess except for one. So, XD Gale of Darkness, I have not played yet. I cannot rank this one for I have not played it. So, we're going to leave that one there. Virtually every other game. There's one more. Where was it? Right here. I didn't play the base Sun and Moon. So we're going to go ahead and leave these two here. And we'll jump right in. So my first games ever were Pokemon Red and Blue. We'll start with that. We're going to go chronologically of release date. So let's go ahead Red and Blue. Why would I put it here? Well, I do love these games. Even the music, I'm so nostalgic for it. There's like a lot to love about it, mainly nostalgia, because these games are clunky. The sprites look just funny. The UI I don't think is optimal. Like everything in the bag is all just in one thing, nothing separated. So you just really got to like sit there and click through and stuff, and it's very glitchy, which is also kind of fun. That's also part of the fun of it. But again, these are the first games, so that does warrant a bit of a higher status, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go ahead and start with, where are they? Gold and Silver, okay? This one is a little biased, okay? I'm going to be honest. But here's why I put it in the A tier. For one, these were, back when I was like 10 years old and like the first three generations, even Fire Red and Leaf Green were out. These were my favorite Pokemon games. It improved basically everything about Red and Blue, and it added so much. These games like the day and night cycle, breeding, two new types, 100 new Pokemon. There was two regions to explore instead of just one. There was so much about these games to love. Even the legendaries, like everyone loves Lugia and Ho-Oh. I don't know anyone who doesn't. So I'm gonna put those in A tier. I mean, I don't know. Let me know if you guys disagree or whatever, but I really do think these are A tier games. Starting with Crystal. No, this one's gonna ruffle some feathers. I don't think it improved that much to warrant it to be any higher than these games. Yes, the moving sprites. These are the first games to do it. Super awesome. I don't know, they made Suicune the main focus when Suicune's already part of a trio and they don't get any attention. I didn't really understand that. There wasn't a whole lot to add as far as crystals, so I just kind of I don't bother with that much. Okay, sorry about that. So, yeah, I don't know. Crystal, we're just going to put there. It didn't add a whole lot. So we're going to move on to Ruby and Sapphire. These are also A-tier games. These games, I know a lot of people are going to argue me on that. I did a poll recently asking people which generation they're most nostalgic for, and it was Gen 3. Gen 3 is so beloved by so many, including myself. I love Gen 3. Definitely my top 4 gens, but it is not my favorite. It is not. And I guess I don't like the things it did include, what did it include? The weather. It included the weather. It included abilities, double battles. I guess it included some HMs and whatever. Berries. No, that did not. I'm sorry. It did not do berries. Yeah, I guess those are the main things. It was probably the best for competitive, though, since abilities and weather and things like that, doubles, are all like staples in VGC and double battles. So it did add a lot. And the legendaries are iconic. These are a lot of people, when they picture Pokemon, they picture, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza. So yeah, these games warrant an A, but the base versions themselves, I don't know. I mean, I've had them both at one point. I don't know, each version, they're just it's like every Pokemon version. There's not much of a difference, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Fire Red and Leaf Green, A tier as well. I'm not gonna put these any higher because it just, God, they almost are. They almost are S tier. Like I really do almost want to put them in there. I just can't. I don't know. I don't know. The ones I do think are S tier, like, are better than. Nah, just for now. Let's leave it there. And I don't know. So these games were basically remakes of the first game, which really needed it. Red and Blue definitely needed remakes. But I guess going through the main story and stuff, it doesn't change anything really until you get to the Savvy Islands, the first, second, and third islands. But I guess after you do that, after you beat the Elite Four and have 60 Pokemon, you can go to Mount Ember, and it starts this whole thing where you can go to Islands 4 through 7. And that is, like, one of the best parts of, like, any Pokemon game. It is so, like, I love that. And then you can get the Johto Pokemon, too. A lot of Johto Pokemon that you couldn't get in Gen 3, including Emerald. Emerald had a couple in the Safari Zone, pardon me. But there was a lot of Pokemon that you couldn't get any other way. You couldn't transfer Pokemon back then from generations 1 and 2 to generation 3. There's no way to do that. So you did either have to have like Coliseum or something, or like me, I didn't have a GameCube when I was a kid like that. I just couldn't get the Pokemon. So that really did suck. Yeah, I don't know. These are really, really good games, though. They're iconic. They looked great. They added just kind of everything you would want in a Gen 1 game. And then, yeah, the islands and stuff were just so cool. But we're going to leave it in A tier. I think that's fair enough. Now, we're going to Pokemon Emerald. This is our first S tier. Now, you're probably like, dude, why, dude? And it's like, well, these games were, like, good, but this game did actually make an improvement compared to, like, Gold and Silver with Crystal. So, these games, you can get all 3 of the Legendaries version exclusives. It included the Battle Frontier, a whole bunch of other Pokemon, the moving sprites. The Battle Frontier in itself was just such a huge thing, and I think it's super underrated. Like, younger Pokemon fans that never had something like that in a Pokemon game, the Battle Frontier was so cool. Like, if they included something like that in a modern Pokemon game, I think it would take off. Like, I think it'd get a lot of people into competitive as well. But, yeah, so that is it's kind of about it with Pokemon Emerald, I guess. It had everything. Let's move on, I guess. Iconic game, nothing really much else to say. So, Generation 4. Man, like, I want to put these in A. But I feel like when you look at a lot of the game mechanics and how it played and stuff, I guess these were kind of B tier. The criticism about the whole, there's only 2 fire types in the game that you can get, one being a starter. So if you didn't pick the fire starter, I think you have Rapidash. It really was janky too, which, hey, you got to give them credit. They went to the DS. They tried to, make like 3D-esque environments and stuff. But I really love Sinnoh for a lot of the, like, it was like mythological focused, ancient deities and stuff focused. And then this was one of the generations that included a whole bunch of new legendaries, and mythicals. And I love that. And they all had some kind of lore aspect to them, and it felt alive. It felt real in a way. Like, especially as a kid, I'm like, wow, like, these are Pokemon. They have like real life applications, like the Moon Pokemon and the Reggie moving the continents, and then you have like the gods of space and time and antimatter, and then the god of Pokemon. Like, that was just all super cool. The music was iconic. They added a bunch of cool evolutions to Pokemon. So we're talking, you guys know, like Mamoswine and Weavile and Porygon Z, all them. Really cool. That was so cool. The 2 evolutions. We got Leafeon and Glaceon. I think that's like super, super underrated. But yeah, they are janky, and I guess when I think of playing a Gen 4 game, these are like not. These aren't the ones I go to. So we will go to that. Pokemon Platinum is S tier for me because it's like I love Gen 4. It is it's on par with my favorite generations of Pokemon. But now that Platinum's out, like there's no reason to play Pokemon Diamond or Pearl. It just really there's really not much of a reason. In this game included the distortion world, the Giratina forms. I guess when you kind of think about it, it didn't add a whole lot, but the performance was better. A more diverse array of Pokemon to choose. There's just so much for this, so I am going to put this one in S tier. I didn't like their outfits, though, like the jacket and stuff. We got another S tier right next to that. We have Heart Gold and Soul Silver. These are literally, like, they took the graphics of Diamond and Pearl and made one of the best games ever. They remade it. And then not only that, like, the Pokewalker thing, I never used it. I didn't really know how. I didn't care to use it. But that was, like, they didn't have to do that. They did not have to do that, and they did. And, they took Gen 2 and put all the fixes. They put all of the improvements that Generation 3 and 4 made and put that into the Gen 2 game. So abilities, the physical special split, weather, just all these things, and they put it into these games. It was just like there's so much with this game. They made like a new area off to the left. They made it so you can get all the legendaries from different games. And then they even included the Sinjo Ruins, which I thought was super cool because actually I had an action replay when I was like a kid. So I actually did that event. It was super cool. You get like a little egg. I think you get to pick, if I don't recall correctly. Like you end up in these mountains and you're with Cynthia and you go to this temple and like I think you get to pick which Pokemon you get. One of the 3 Sinnoh legendaries, but yeah, it was really cool. And you see all these images and just things in life, and then it just creates one of them. So it was really cool. This game in just general was awesome. And then I think the biggest thing for many people was that Pokemon follow you, which just makes it feel so immersive and alive and just like exciting. Like your Pokemon's following behind you. That's so cool. So we're going to leave that at S tier. We got to keep this moving, huh? We're going to go with Black and White. We're going to put that in A. 14-year-old Maldi would not have agreed. And I think a lot of people that played these games when they came out, back in 2010, 2011, they would not agree with this either. Because I think what the biggest thing was with these games is they looked great. The sprites, the fully animated sprites were awesome. They looked great. A lot of the item additions, the gems and stuff like that. A Violite. I love a Violite so much. I love that. These things were included. And then there was a lot of cool Pokemon too in this roster, this generation. But you couldn't use any older generation Pokemon. So if you didn't like these new ones, you were kind of screwed. And that was what I didn't like as a kid. And that's what a lot of people didn't like. So, I mean, I can kind of see why. But, playing it again a few years ago when I got back into Pokemon and stuff, I don't know. These games are, so nostalgic for me now. It's weird. It is so weird, but they're so good. Now, Black and White 2, I know most people would put them there. They were really, really good, but I have to put them here. I know a lot of people are like, click, I'm not watching this. But, this is, it was a sequel, and it did deliver. A lot of sequels in things are not as good. These delivered. There's not too much to say. I mean, you got the, there's, the Cynthia battle. There was the, differences in the story. The story continued instead of just being, with Pokemon Gold and Silver and then Crystal, it's basically the same story, just maybe another character pops up or whatever. These actually had a whole new story, started on the whole other side of the map, giving life to that whole other side you otherwise really didn't see in the first games. Yeah, I don't know. The legendaries too, though, when they're all fused like that, I think they're kind of ugly. I'm gonna be honest. Like, not my cup of tea. I'll be honest. But the games themselves are amazing. They are on par with Black and White. So I do put them in the A tier. Now here's where I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Okay, I'm gonna be ruffling some feathers, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I just need you to bear with me when I do this, dude. I gotta do it. X and Y actually really recently played through for my first time, and that's probably why I put it down here. Um, I don't even remember too much from the game. I think it is partially a bias, but they were super easy. Like megas in general, kind of for me. Okay, I don't want to say ruin the game, but just kind of make it like, like I could just not use it and it make it a harder experience, a little more challenging. I don't mind the whole EXP share thing that you can't turn it off. Like, honestly, I don't mind that at all because go ahead and play an older game, dude. You really got to grind the hell out of your game to get all your whole team up on the same level. It's just that it was super easy. The characters were just kind of like I didn't care too much. That Lysander, his whole goal with everything. None of these evil team leaders have great goals except for Giovanni. He wanted the paper. He wanted that moolah, baby. But this guy wants to kill everyone and everything because the world's like ugly. I know there's probably more symbolism behind that, but like that's kind of what the average viewer would get out of that, and that's just not for me. So also, it's the roster for Generation 6, they're either I love them or hate them. And more often than not, I'm not a big fan of the designs in this. Like, I love Tyrantrum, Yveltal's cool, Xerneas is cool, you know. But I don't really like the starters. I don't like Aegislash. Aegislash is cool. I'm not gonna hate on him. The cotton candy ones are terrible. Klefki. I don't like Klefki. I don't like him like that. I'll use him in competitive now, but like, design wise, I'm not a big fan. So I don't know, man. I love the region though. I think that's cool. I think it's cool that it's based off France. Sycamore, he seems pretty cool too. But otherwise, yeah, these games were not for me. In the art style, I wasn't too big on. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go to Oras. I'm gonna put Oras in B. Why? Right? Why, dude? These were like really cool and whatever. And yeah, they were. I don't know. I almost want to put it up in A, but I'm going to leave it in B for now. We'll come back to it. Maybe I'll do the same with Fire Red, but we're just going to leave it here. It really was like an X and Y in Hoenn. And then they're just giving you all this like free stuff. You get like, the Mega Stones, all that right away. You get Latios or Latia. What is it? Latios or Latias? Right away, like to join your team. Like, that's like crazy, dude. That just, it makes it super easy. I mean, otherwise, yeah. And then they took the Battle Frontier. I'm not gonna chirp about that too much, but it is. It's just not. It's not for. I don't know. It's okay. I love these games. I appreciate that they were made. Almost 10 years old too. That makes me feel old. I need a cane. But yeah, this is not for me. I guess it is for me, but it's not like. It's not what we wanted, right? It's not what we wanted. I mean, there's another game which I think everyone has that same criticism of. So, with that being said, everybody, I have not played Sun and Moon, but I have played Ultra Sun and Moon, okay? Dude, I almost want to put it in A, but for now we're going to put this in B tier. These games were fun. I actually, like, how I know I'm not a genwunner is that, like, I didn't like Gen 6's Pokedex that much, but I loved Alola's Pokedex a lot. I loved most of the Pokemon in the decks. I don't have too much to say. I think it was cool they switched up the whole formula, so you're not just fighting gym battles and then going to the Leaf or whatever. Like, you do these trials, and it's like 4 main islands. You can like surf across to each one or whatever, and you can like fly chart. You can ride Pokemon and stuff to get where you need to go. Not too much of a story though. There's really not too much of a story, which is, that's we're not all playing Pokemon for the story, right? But it is what it is. Love the roster. I love the Ultra Wormhole thing. That was pretty cool. And then the Ultra Beasts, I used to hate them, but I kind of grew to love them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead and move on. I didn't do Pokemon Yellow, dude. I forgot Pokemon Yellow. Let's go and just put that. I didn't fully play through this, but I know what it is. I've seen people play through it. I know exactly what it is, how it goes. It's B tier. It's if you're a fan of the anime, you might like that you get a Pikachu in the beginning or whatever, but like yeah, it's still B tier for me. I don't know. There's not enough content to warrant it being an A. But now, with that being said, the remakes, dude, this is where I'm ruffling feathers, man. I understand. I know. Dude, I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee were A-tier Pokemon games. I do. The reason why, I know a lot of it's because these are the first home console Pokemon games, but they looked clean. They still look clean. Like, they look cleaner than, in some ways, than Sword and Shield did. You get the whole original 151 Pokemon roster. It doesn't just take a 1-for-1 with Red and Blue and everything. Like, you actually play as this kid who grew up in the same town as Red, whatever, but you're not Red. You're this other kid, and you actually get to meet Red and Blue. You go through basically the same adventure they did, but it's like everything they included in that. The different catching mechanic, I loved that. I think a lot of people didn't, especially because they thought that was what it was going to be, the series moving onward. It was going to just be throwing the ball and whatever like that. I loved that, especially because I played Pokemon Go. I still like hop on here and there, especially on community days. It's for like shinies and whatever, And I love that catching mechanic. I think it's cool. I think it'd be cooler if you could battle the Pokemon first, but whatever, The games look crispy. You can ride a bunch of different Pokemon like Snorlax. I think Nidoking. I could be wrong, but I know it's Snorlax, Onix, Rapidash, Arcanine, Dragonite, Charizard. I want to say Rhyhorn. You get to ride and Haunter. You get to ride all these Pokemon. It's so cool. There's like a lot more. And then like I guess it's the first Pokemon game that was fully orchestrated. So like the music was crispy. Like it was crispy. It makes for a better experience in my opinion. So I love these games. I know that is such a hot take for a lot of people, but I did. I enjoyed Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So, with that being said, guys... Oh, and Eevee becomes this beast. Like, you don't even need to evolve it. It just becomes this hardcore Pokemon that can use, like, any move it needs to. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead. We're going to go to Sword and Shield. Did I also mention this was, like... When I got a Switch, that was the first game I bought. Let's go. So we have Pokemon Sword and Shield. I actually bought a Switch to play these games. So Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm putting in the A tier. You could almost put it in the B tier. Like, it didn't do too much. But I love the presentation. It looked really good. I mean, yeah, people are going to argue the tree and... I was there, man. I remember that June of 2019. Everyone roasted that tree, man, and I get it. And there was some roast-worthy things in that game. Don't get me wrong. But it looked clean. I mean, the roster was, I almost do want to just drop it down a little bit. The roster wasn't that great. But, I mean, they kept the Alolan form thing going with Galarian forms. They gave new evolutions to certain Pokemon, like Runerigus, Berserker. I don't know if Darmanitan doesn't count, I don't think. Sirfetch'd. I mean, that was really cool. The aesthetic of just the whole United Kingdom thing was super cool. I loved that. A lot of the British PokeTubers loved it too. I loved seeing their reaction, seeing that. The starters, I hated them when I first saw them. When they were first revealed, I saw all three. I was like, what is this, man? Like, Pokemon is, oh, it sucks. I love them now. I love all three of them. They are actually really good. But I suppose these were also the first games that did DLC. And the DLC, the first one, I wasn't a big fan of. The Isle Armor, it was, but the second one, the Crown Tundra, was pretty cool, man. It was, I'll admit, it was pretty cool. Even though I hated the legendaries that it included, the Calyrex, I'm not a big fan, man. So that is what it is. Yeah. So Sword and Shield, I guess I'm gonna leave in the A tier. I had a lot of fun with these games. I played the shit out of them. I'm gonna be honest, I did. The dens, the max raid dens were cool. I don't know what else to really say though. They ended up having Pokemon follow you, I guess, in the Crown Tundra or the Isle Armor. I don't know. Yeah, they were okay. They were good. Let's go ahead with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Dude, they're going in the sea. A lot of people would argue they should go here just because they're literally rip-offs of Diamond and Pearl. They literally took I think it was made with the same engine or something like that, right? I think I heard something like that. I think people that say that are mad. I think you're mad, dude. It's okay. It's really okay, honestly. Why don't we go ahead and put that in the C tier? Just because they look good. They look really good. They went back to that chibi style. Even though when you go into battle, it's like full art style, whatever. Which is just whatever, right? I mean, they looked good. It's like playing BDSP. Or playing BDSP. It's like playing Diamond and Pearl. Like all over again with better graphics. That's really it. That's really it. So I don't think it makes it an F tier because I don't hate Diamond and Pearl. I just, you can, by the way, as of the time of this recording, if you guys want to buy either of those games, Diamond or Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, Shiny Pearl, GameStop is selling them for $20. I am not sponsored by GameStop. I have 800 subscribers, but they are selling that for $20. So go ahead and get yourselves a copy of Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl while you can. $20, man. Come on. That's like some people, that's their McDonald's order. But anyways, so yeah, they just didn't include much, but they look good and they are what they are. So I'm going to put them in C. I mean, if you're mad, I get it, dude. Put it in the D tier or something. I wouldn't call it F, though, because I don't hate Diamond and Pearl. This is an opinion video, by the way, everybody. So, just leave it there at C. It's a C tier. It's mid tier. The shit is mid. Let's go ahead then and start with Coliseum. I did just finish this a little bit ago. That's a solid A tier. I almost want to do S. And the biggest reason why is the story is a little more edgy. It's a little more cool. It's more gritty. And it looks so good. Like, I was going to make a video comparing a battle in the rain in Pokemon Coliseum versus a battle in the rain in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like, literally, this game here looks so good. And it's 20 years old. I think. It's almost 20 years old. And it looks so good. The Shadow Pokemon thing was really cool. Just everything about it. The Mirror Bee or whatever, the Fro guy with the afro, dude, he's something else. That shit looks funny. But it is still, that's an S tier. I almost put it in the A, and I'm like, no, dude, that looked so good. Just the looks alone. Put it in the S tier. I guess we'll do Arceus, dude, is a solid. I almost want to do that. Just because, like, this was such a breath of fresh air. And not only that, but, like, it's hard to say whether my favorite generation is 2 or 4. Or, not generation, I want to say region. Sinnoh or Johto. You get to go to Sinnoh in the past. Back when Pokemon were not friendly with people, like, they didn't live together in harmony. People were ignorant about Pokemon. And thought they were like mindless killing machines. They were monsters. And You're like this person. Yeah, you get sent down from by God. Like, why didn't God just do? Arceus. Why didn't he just fix it? Why didn't he just? Why do you have to send a kid from the future to do that? I don't know. Well, anyways, don't think about it too hard. And you get sent to this place where people are scared of Pokemon, and you join an expedition survey team to go out and like research Pokemon. And you actually catch them. You throw the ball. You can sneak up behind them and like catch them that way, like sneak catch them, or you can battle them like the old way in the older games. Like there is so much to love. Your Pokemon can follow you. No, I don't think they follow you. You can send them out though. They respond to other Pokemon. They fall asleep if whatever. Like these games were like so awesome, dude. Like the mechanics were different. Yeah, it was single player. I wish there was like some battling online. That would have been so cool, but whatever. And then yeah, you get to like jump into this whole like lore thing, this whole like legend. It's literally a legend. That's why it's Pokemon Legends. It is one of the best Pokemon games I've ever played. I'm not even kidding. And like I play competitive Pokemon. I love battling and everything, but like I will take this as a single player experience and say it is like one of the best Pokemon games. And then it's kind of open world, whatever, but like there's just so much about it. Some of the Pokemon, like a Chansey, will literally heal you if you fall or take damage. Some Pokemon will just walk up to you out of curiosity. Some will see you and just want to rip your guts out. Like it was it was innovative. It was interactive. It was an amazing game. Oh, and then you can like fly on Pokemon and ride them and whatever. Like this was one of the best games ever, man. I don't know. All right, enough giving Legends Arceus head. Let's go ahead with the last but not least. In fact, this is the newest Pokemon games we have. We're gonna put this one in the A tier. And it would be S tier, okay? This one is the very last one, okay? The reason I put Scarlet and Violet in the S tier, or no, it is not S tier, in the A tier is because it is open world, fully open world. Your Pokemon get to follow you around. They get to do auto battling, so many quality of life improvements, especially with competitive. You don't, to hyper train a Pokemon, it only has to be level 50. The egg move thing was in Gen 8. I was going to say, like, you can transfer egg moves and whatever, but, my biggest criticisms with Scarlet and Violet, would be, for one, a lot of the new Pokemon, introduced in this generation I didn't like. A few examples being like Varoom and Revavroom. Those are probably my least favorite Pokemon of all time. I always said, like, the minute they make a car Pokemon, they're running out of ideas, and they made an engine Pokemon, man. The starters, in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of. They did not grow on me. The legendaries did. I love the legendaries. I love the Paradox Pokemon. But yeah, there's like a lot of Pokemon I'm just not a fan of. I just can't think of any now. Huh? That's weird. There's some I love, like Citadel, dude. That's so cute. Cititan's awesome. But yeah, they're like just a lot of the Pokemon were just anime. Yeah, what's that one? The snake. I can't. Orthworm. What the hell was that, man? Yeah, I don't know. There's not too much to say about it. Oh, the other biggest criticism of it was that like the world just feels plain. There's like how in other Pokemon games you can go in like people's houses or go into like facilities or buildings and stuff like that. It makes it feel like like there's more world in the world. In this game, like you can't do any of that. There's no real buildings to go in other than the main school. Then even then there's like nothing to really do even in the school. Like you can't just walk around the whole school. There's just that big one room, and if you want to go to a class you have to go to the desk and then it takes you there. Like that is not cool. It just feels really just like a plain literal open world. Like, it's just like a plains, a prairie of shit. Not saying they're bad games at all. I'm just saying, like, they need to improve that because it did feel soulless in a way. Oh, and you can't even go up to people and talk to them. They just have chat bubbles above their head, and that's it. Like, doesn't feel like you're talking to them. You're just hearing them. So it's like, yeah, there are some criticisms I have. I didn't even, like, the game wasn't even glitchy for me, to be honest. I didn't see much glitch when I played. But yeah, it just, I guess that's about it, man. There's not much to say about Scarlet and Violet, and that's actually it for the video. So, if you made it this far, like, you are a G. I'm sure you're subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It really helps. Yeah, I guess all I'll say before the video ends is that I am so thankful for everyone's support. We are over 800 subscribers, and I'm so happy for that. The channel, I haven't had much time to put into this channel as of late because there's a lot of stuff going on with my life, with work and other things. So I'm trying to get more stability before I find more time to put in this. But the content that will be coming up, whether I decide to indigo disc, whether I decide to make content about the indigo disc, I don't know yet. But I will be doing battle videos. There are a few ideas I have for Pokemon I want to use, or just, like, I'll do streams. Whether it's the Indigo Disc, or if it's just like, hey, we're climbing the ranked ladder with these weird Pokemon or something. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be doing stuff like that. And then I'm going to start working on bigger projects as well. So these are going to be videos that are longer and have more thought put into them. That's the kind of content I really want to make, but you need a lot of time and a lot of, like, focus, and the environment has to kind of be right. But yeah, so everyone who's supported the channel, so, like, there's so much thanks from me to you. If you guys don't watch this before then, happy holidays, everybody. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you guys can all be here. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much. You already know it is your boy Molly. We just ranked all these games and all that, so feel free to hit that like button and or subscribe if you haven't. And with that being said, I will see you later. Peace.